In the early hours of March 18, 1990, in the quiet historic city of Boston, a crime was set in motion that would become one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the art world. Two men, dressed in police uniforms, approached the side entrance of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. They buzzed the intercom, telling the night watchman they were responding to a report of a disturbance. The guard, a young man named Rick Abath, looked at the uniformed figures on his monitor. He saw nothing out of the ordinary, and against all protocol, he buzzed them in. This simple act of trust was a catastrophic mistake. Once inside, the fake officers quickly revealed their true intentions. They ordered Abath to step away from the security desk and call his partner down. When the second guard arrived, both were swiftly overpowered. The thieves told them, "Gentlemen, this is a robbery." Within minutes, the two guards were bound with duct tape, handcuffed, and led down to the museum's dark, cold basement. They were secured 2 pipes, miles away from any hope of rescue. For the next 81 minutes, the thieves had the entire museum to themselves. No alarms were triggered. No calls for help were made. They were ghosts in a palace of art, free to take whatever they desired. When the sun rose over Boston that morning, a new shift of guards arrived to find a scene of quiet devastation. 13 priceless works of art were gone. Their total value was estimated at a staggering $500 million, making it the single largest property theft in history. To this day, not a single piece has been recovered, and the empty frames still hang on the museum walls, a haunting tribute to the loss. So, how did this happen? To understand the heist, you have to understand the museum itself. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum wasn't like other institutions. It was the personal creation of its eccentric and brilliant founder, Isabella Stewart Gardner. She was a passionate art collector who traveled the world, amassing a collection that included masterpieces by some of the greatest artists in history. She designed the museum to resemble a 15th-century Venetian palace, arranging the art not by period or artist, but according to her own unique aesthetic. It was meant to feel like stepping into her private home. After her death in 1924, her will left very specific, ironclad instructions. The collection was to be preserved exactly as she had left it. Nothing could be added, sold, or even moved. If her terms were violated, the entire collection was to be auctioned off in Paris. This created a major problem. As decades passed, security technology evolved, but the museum was trapped in time. Upgrading the security system with modern cameras or sensors would have required altering the building's structure, violating the will. Consequently, a museum holding $500 million in art was protected by a system that was shockingly outdated, relying on little more than motion detectors and a couple of unarmed guards. It was a treasure chest with a flimsy lock, hiding in plain sight. The thieves seemed to know this. Their movements that night suggest they were not just opportunistic criminals, they were prepared. After subduing the guards, they didn't just smash and grab, they moved with purpose, targeting specific galleries. They went straight to the Dutch Room, which housed some of the museum's most valuable works. There, they stole 3 Rembrandts, including his only known seascape, The Storm on the Sea of Galilee. This monumental painting wasn't just taken off the wall, it was brutally cut from its frame. They also took A Lady and Gentleman in Black, another Rembrandt masterpiece. Nearby they took what many consider the most valuable painting of the entire haul, The Concert by Johannes Vermeer. It's one of only about 36 known Vermeer paintings in the world. The thieves seemed to know exactly what they were looking for, yet their choices were also baffling. They took 5 sketches by Edgar Degas and a painting by Edouard Manet from the Blue Room, but they also grabbed a relatively worthless bronze eagle finial from the top of a Napoleonic flag, while leaving behind a nearby Titian, one of the most valuable paintings in the entire collection. They attempted to unscrew another Rembrandt self-portrait but gave up. Why take the eagle and leave the Titian? This strange mix of precision and amateurism has puzzled investigators for decades. Did they have a shopping list? Was there an inside man? The questions began to pile up. When the Morning Star finally discovered the crime scene, chaos erupted. The police and the FBI descended on the museum, launching one of the most intensive art crime investigations in history. But they were met with a frustrating lack of evidence. The thieves had been smart. They took the security tapes from the night of the heist, erasing any clear footage of themselves. There were no fingerprints, no stray hairs, no fibers left behind. It was almost a perfect crime. The guards, Rick Abath and his partner, were interrogated for hours but could offer little in the way of useful descriptions. The men had worn hats and fake mustaches, their features obscured in the dim light. The investigation quickly hit a wall. In the years that followed, the FBI explored countless theories. The prime suspects were members of a local crime syndicate with ties to the Boston Mafia. One prominent figure was a career criminal named Bobby Donati who was rumored to have been involved. Just a year after the heist, Donati was murdered, and a theory emerged that he had orchestrated the theft to get a fellow mobster out of prison. But, with Donati dead, the trail went cold. Another theory pointed to the Irish Republican Army, or IRA, suggesting the art was smuggled to Ireland to fund their activities. Investigators chased leads across the globe, from Boston to Philadelphia, from Ireland to Japan. They went undercover, interviewed informants, and followed every whisper and rumor. Time and again they seemed to be on the brink of a breakthrough, only to have the lead collapse. Potential suspects died, witnesses changed their stories, and the paintings remained lost. One of the greatest paradoxes of the Gardner heist is the nature of the stolen art itself. These aren't just anonymous paintings. The storm on the Sea of Galilee and the concert are world famous. They are impossible to sell on the open market. Any reputable auction house or dealer would immediately recognize them and contact the authorities. So, why steal them? What's the point of owning a masterpiece if you can never show it to anyone? Experts believe the art likely entered the dark world of underground criminal economies. It could have been used as collateral for massive drug deals or arms trades, a sort of get-out-of-jail-free card for high-level criminals. Another possibility is that the art was stolen for a private collector, a shadowy billionaire who wanted the pieces for their own secret gallery, content to admire them in solitude. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum has never given up hope. They are offering a $10 million reward for any information that leads directly to the recovery of the art in good condition. No questions asked. This reward is for the return of the art, not for the capture of the thieves. The statute of limitations on the theft itself has long since expired, meaning the criminals can no longer be prosecuted for the robbery. All the museum wants is its collection back. But even with the $10 million incentive, the silence has been deafening. Today, if you visit the Gardner Museum, you will see the empty frames still hanging on the walls. It was a decision made by the museum director shortly after the theft. These golden voids are a powerful, ghostly presence. They serve as placeholders for the lost art, a constant reminder of the cultural wound that has never healed. They symbolize both the hope for the art's eventual return and the profound tragedy of its absence. For over 3 decades, these frames have waited. The story of the Gardner heist continues to captivate the public. It has been the subject of books, documentaries, and podcasts, each trying to piece together the puzzle. Was it a simple robbery that went sideways, a sophisticated operation by international art thieves, or something else entirely? The truth remains elusive, locked away with the missing art. The thieves, if they are still alive, would now be old men. The guards, whose lives were forever changed that night, have lived with the consequences of that fateful decision. And the world is poorer for the loss of 13 irreplaceable works of art. Somewhere out there, perhaps in a climate-controlled vault, a quiet attic, or a forgotten warehouse, 13 masterpieces are waiting. And until they are found, the greatest art heist in history will remain a story without an ending. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries.